Now this is how you make quick fairy models or an angel. So you've got your little white angel there, or I'm going to show you how to make a pink fairy that would be perfect to go on a little castle or a cake for a little girl. So the first thing you want to do the day before, you want to make a body. Now you need to make the body in advance because you want it to be hard when you actually dress it. And to make that body you want a ball size B. Use your guide to sizes to check the size. You shape it into a cone shape, and that cone shape is formed into a 2-inch high pointy shape like that with a nice thin neck at the top, and give it a nice firm base. Put your piece of spaghetti into it straight away before it starts to harden, and then you leave that to dry. Now if you've got time to make this 3 or 4 days in advance, you can make it just from decor ice or sugar paste. But if you're making it just the day before, I would add a little bit of flour paste or modelling paste just to help it go a bit harder. So you've got your body, that's been set for 24 hours. If you're doing a fairy or something you want wings on, you need to make your wings in advance as well. And I've just used a butterfly cutter here. I use flour and modelling paste, and there's a tutorial on how to make butterfly wings for a fairy or an angel. So if you go to that, it will show you how to make these. So make your body and your wings 24 hours in advance. And if you're making a little fairy, also make your little wand. So you want your star on top of the wand to be made from pastelage or flour paste on a wire. I usually use a number 24 wire, and you want that to dry as well. So you've got your body. Your body's nice and firm. You need 2 round cutters. Now this cutter is going to be the dark colour, which is going to be underneath. So that wants to be the biggest size, and then slightly smaller. The large circle is about 3 inches, about 7.5 centimetres, and the small one's about 6 centimetres. So you want the small one pale pink, the large one in the dark pink. We're now going to actually frill around the edge of these. Now when you frill, you want your tool to be very slightly pointing upwards, not pointing downwards. So if you sit slightly away from your table or your work surface, bring it to the very edge and then roll your tool along the edge. Do about 2 centimetres at a time. I do it always going in one direction. Some people roll backwards and forwards, but I find that squashes what I've just done. So I just go one way, and every time I do a roll, I slightly overlap the bit I've just done before. Make sure you've got lots of icing sugar underneath. If you haven't got icing sugar underneath, because you're pressing hard, this will just stick. So little short rolls till you get all the way around to the other end like that. Now the first thing you want to do now is you want to cut a little section out of there, like cutting a little piece of pie, and it's a little triangle shape. Take your model, we want some sugar glue, and at the back of the model, now I'm going to have my model that way. Can you see it's very slightly sloping backwards? I'm going to use the slopey bit, more curved bit is going to be the front, and the straight bit's going to be the back. And I'm going to pop some sugar glue there, and I'm going to stick that little triangle just at the back, all the way down to the ground, like that. Now all over this little fairy, you want to brush some sugar glue, including over the edges of the first bit you've stuck on. But don't go too high, because she's got a neck there that's going to show, and you don't want the neck to have sugar glue all over it. Take your piece of icing, place it very gently so it's reaching the bottom and covering all of her cone-shaped base, but you want a little V shape at the top. Turn it round and stick that bit down, and then stick the other piece over until it's firmly stuck all the way around, like that. You now want to go straight to the arms if you're making a little person like this who's only got 1 layer of dress. So this would be my little Christmas angel. She's got 1 layer of dress, so you put it on, straight to the arms and then the sleeves. But if you're doing this fairy and she's got 2 layers of dress, before you do the arms, you need to add the 2nd layer. So let's do that first. So we've got our 2nd frill, and we're going to cut a piece straight off the top like that, which we're not going to need for the moment. This frill, we're going to get some sugar glue, we're going to stick it onto the back of it, and we're going to wrap this round high up as a 2nd layer of her dress, and just join it round at the back. Now try and make sure that it covers all the dark pink all the way around, and it also wants to be a little bit higher at the bottom so you can see that lovely pink dress underneath. Make that top nice and neat, smooth it down, and make sure it's joined over at the back. That's lovely. Now the arms are going to be size G. They're quite small. And what you want to do with them, you want to make them into a teardrop shape. And then you flatten the end, make a little hand, and you pinch in a little wrist. So do that with both your arms. Pinch and flatten. Lovely. Pop a little bit of sugar glue, just coming round in a little curve like that. And pop your little arms on. Lovely, make sure they're well stuck. Now there's two ways you can do sleeves. If you just want to have plain sleeves, like my little angel has here, what I've done is I've taken a ball of icing and I've squashed it over the top of the arm, like that. But there is another way of doing a sleeve as well. If you want to have one that's a little bit frillier, which might be quite nice on a fairy, you see this little bit that you've cut off here from the top? If I make that a little bit thinner, and I'm going to cut two little triangular shapes like that from it, with a frill on the bottom, that little bit sticking out too far, just cut that one off, and that would make the absolute perfect little frilly sleeve. So this is another great way of making sleeves if you wanted to look a little bit fancier. Pop that over, and that bit was just sitting there, you were going to throw it away, so you might as well use those two little pieces, and she's got little frilly sleeves, like that. Now this is how you make the head. You take your little ball of skin tone icing, this is size E, you shape it into an oval shape, and then I want you to just pinch the bottom of it to make it very slightly pointy, and then slope the back of it so the shape you've got is that shape. Now that's the front of the head and that's the back of the head, and you've got this little slope there, and you've got your little pointy chin, but not too pointy, okay? Now when you stick the head on, it's a really, really strange angle you stick it on at, but what you want to do is keep her neck, because the neck is what will make her look elegant. So instead of putting it on straight down like that, I put it on so she's looking up at you, and you can still see the shape of her neck, and that's how you add it. She has the tiniest little nose ever, and the nose goes very, very low. Little teardrop shape, the point goes in the hole, like that, and she has little ears. You wouldn't see her ears if her hair was down, but if her hair was up you would, so let's do it two little ears, which is just a little indentation like that, and then finally she's got two little eyes. So get some black paste colour on the end of your cocktail stick. You don't want much on there. I'm just going to change my stick so that's better. So I've just got a little tiny bit on there, and I'm going to tilt her backwards to do this. And you want to do her eyes very low. And the reason you do them so low is because you've got quite a lot of forehead showing, and you need that to do a nice hairstyle. It looks a bit strange at the moment. When you actually pipe the hair on, she'll look absolutely fine. So we've now got some coloured icing. This is very, very pale blonde coloured icing. There is a section that you can go to which is piping hair for princesses and fairies, but I'm very quickly just going to pipe hair on this one. And if you want more ideas for hairstyles, do go to that tutorial and show you some different ones. And this is how you do hair that's up. I'm going to pipe from the crown . Bring some down that side as well. There's a few different hairstyles that it shows you on the other tutorial, and it shows you how to do a bob, it shows you how to do hair that's up, and it also shows you how to do hair like a frozen princess with a lovely long plait coming down one side, and that's how you do hair that's up. And then to make these into fairies or princesses, if you want to have wings, you use your butterfly cutter to make the wings the day before. I'm going to stick some royal icing just at the back there, and I'm going to pop those wings in place, and there you have your little angel. Now this one is going to be a fairy. We've got a little wand here, which is a little star shape made from flour and modelling paste, stuck onto the end of a wire, allow it to dry for 24 hours, and then I stick that as if it's going into her hand and right into her body, and there she has her little wand. And you have your angel and your fairy.